Music brings the people come together, as Madonna once sang. And if you do not like my horrible singing, got some bad news for you for this particular video here, because I'll explain why in just a second. But when it comes to movies, film scores have a huge part in how the movie plays out. Even in some of the worst movies ever, they can usually help save the film in some way, shape, or form. Everybody has their favorite scores, and nobody's really right on what's the best overall score of all time. So here are my picks for the top 10 best film scores. So like I said, if you don't like my singing, probably best to just go ahead and skip to another video, because here's the thing. I could play little clips from all 10 of my choices here, but then I'd have to probably go through copyright claims and all that type of stuff. Even if I play a few seconds, they'll get me on that sometimes on some of these some of the music here. Plus, they've been more hectic. They've been more stricter nowadays on what songs can be played on here without getting claimed or something like that, or getting potentially blocked partially. But so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to do my best to try to give you at least an idea of what these scores sound like. I'll do like a couple seconds of them, but brace yourselves, because it's not going to be pretty. I fully admit right now, this may not end up well, my singing in general, but my top 10 overall is not bad. So let's go ahead and get to my first one here. Starting off with number 10, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Ba-da-ba, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. I'm sorry. If you don't like this, like I said, I'm more than encouraging you to skip another video. But like I said, doing what I can so I don't get claimed on this. But the score for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, often overlooked. I really think the music is just as memorable as the film itself, combining a nice mixture of the music of the late 40s with a mix of what was of the time period of the 1980s when this movie came out. Al Silvestri is one of my favorite composers. As you'll see, he actually has 3 scores on this particular list here. And he creates an amazing score that creates a lot of great atmosphere, energy, and perfectly plays well with the film itself, especially the ending of the movie, which I think perfectly wraps it up on the best note it could possibly end on. It doesn't get talked about as much as the rest of the movie does, but the soundtrack to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I think, is just as good as the movie itself. It's just perfect stuff overall. So speaking of Alan Silvestri, here's another one of his scores that I really like that's on my list at number 9, The Avengers. Bum, 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 bum. That one wasn't too bad. This one is actually the newest score on my top 10 list. I know there's been some good scores in between the original list I did and now, but this is the one that I always go back to. And again, it's one that doesn't get talked about as much as the rest of the movie itself. It's got that classic feeling for it going forward. I mean, once again done by Silvestri, it creates a very memorable score that perfectly fits into easily the best scene in the movie, the circular shot with all the heroes as the villains are gathering around them and all that. That great shot of the Avengers together with the music playing. It's the strongest part of the movie, and it's just part of a great score done by Silvestri throughout the course of these movies in general. I really do love the Avengers Endgame score he does too, especially the tribute especially the salute to Tony at the end of it. That when he dies and all that, and they go to the funeral and all that. That's probably one of my favorite scores from the Marvel movies in general. That one bit right there, and I mean I play that song at the end of Endgame every once in a while. It's such a good bit of music there, and just absolutely great stuff, man. I mean, Al Silvestri doesn't get as much attention for the movies he did for the score he did for the Avengers movies, but they're just as good as some of the other scores on this list here. I don't think it gets talked about as much, but definitely is one that definitely deserves to be talked about more. So let's go ahead and move on to number 8, and that is the theme to James Bond. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, ba-dum, ba-da-dum. One of the coolest, slickest theme songs you'll ever hear. You really can't go wrong with this theme song. even in later incarnations with different variations, John Barry's original theme to James Bond is one of those theme songs that the minute you hear it, the moment you're getting ready to watch a James Bond movie, and it usually sometimes it'll be the best parts of the movie in general, even the worst James Bond movies. Once you put that song on there, it makes it worth it for a couple of seconds there. I mean, how can you go wrong with that great score in general? It's just a terrific theme song overall. What more can you say, man? It's James Bond. Moving on to number 7, Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Dun 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 dun. Ba da 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 da. Now, the original Terminator theme song is good. It fits the time period of the 1980s overall, but when they did the theme for Terminator 2, they took a theme song that was good and made it awesome with the way that they handled it more. I mean, you could tell they upped the ante on every single level with that movie, including the score. I mean, they took it to a brand new level of awesomeness with that. And a good theme should hook you right off the bat, and boy, does Terminator 2 do that big time or what. I mean, that is just an excellent theme. I mean, one of my favorite scores from that is in my list here, number 7 on the list. Moving on to number 6, The Godfather by Nino Rota. Da, 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 da. I probably should have mentioned the people behind the last 2 scores I did. I think it said John Barry for James Bond and Brad Fiedel for Terminator 2. Nino Rota did the music for The Godfather, and I was actually kind of surprised when I did my initial top 10 scores list back in the day. This score was not on there in particular. This is one of the strongest opening themes to any movie ever. It has this great energy and atmosphere to it, starting off really slow, but ends on the best possible note it can end on to get you ready to see what you're gonna see when you watch these movies. I mean, it does a good job of like building the tension of what's gonna happen next and what you're preparing yourself for. And just a great score overall. Like, it's hard not to get excited for the movie you're about to watch when you start hearing those notes start going, like da 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 da, like that thing right there. But I mean, great music overall. So moving on to number 5, Star Wars by John Williams. Bum ba da ba da bum 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 bum. I mean, what can you say, man? Star Wars. What more do you got to say about it, man? I mean, this theme song is still amazing even after all these years. Even in the worst Star Wars movies, once you hear the beginning of that song kicking off, it's just like you're in for a ride that you're probably going to really love or you're going to really hate, depending on how you feel about Star Wars overall. I mean, not much more I can really say about it, man. Everyone can agree that Star Wars theme is just excellent stuff. Speaking of John Williams and great scores, here's number 4, Indiana Jones. Bum ba bum bum ba bum ba bum ba. Again, like with Star Wars, once that theme song is on, the movie's yours. I mean, even in the worst Indiana Jones movies, when that song comes up, when that score comes on, you're automatically invested in what's going on, because the Indiana Jones theme carries a lot of that same great energy and awesomeness as the Star Wars theme does. And whenever you hear it, you can't help but get yourself hooked in to what you're about to go in for, man. I mean, it's just another great score by John Williams, and he's not done just yet, because coming in at number 3 is probably his magnum opus, and that is, of course, the theme to Superman. Bum ba bum ba 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 ba. I mean, that's Superman, man. That is Superman. That when I think of a theme for Superman, that's the first thing you go to right there. Like, it's one of those things where, like, you listen to that the first time during Superman the movie, and like Richard Donner said, you listen to that part where they show the Superman title and the music reaches its peak, and you can hear the music literally screaming Superman. Like, it's amazing. It's a triumphant theme used in a majority of the Superman movies, and rightfully so. It's an awesome theme. It gives Superman a recognizable and distinctive theme, unlike the not theme by Hans Zimmer in Man of Steel. Sorry, I love Hans Zimmer, but that is not a theme song in the Man of Steel for Superman. It just isn't. But yeah, I criticize Hans Zimmer, but don't worry though, he's at the number 2, my number 2 favorite score of all time, tied with another great score by about a superhero, this time Batman, along with Danny Elfman. I mean, you get the idea. The 1989 Batman theme by Danny Elfman. Again, kind of like with how Superman the movie started off. When you hear that song for the first time in the beginning of Batman, I mean, it just gets you prepared for the badass that's about to come. It best resembles what makes Batman such a badass overall. It's the definitive theme of The Dark Knight. And even the Hans Zimmer theme is really good. You know, bum, ba the 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 bum, ba the, you know, I mean, like I said, I can't do the whole thing, but you know, that is what he should have brought to Superman. Hans Zimmer creates an incredible Batman theme that takes a lot of inspiration of what makes Batman who he is. It creates an amazing theme that's on par with the '89 Batman theme. I think if you've heard it, you pretty much know the exact idea of what I'm talking about here. These are 2 really good scores. Couldn't really decide between one or the other, so I just threw them both together. It's my number 2 favorite score of all time. So that means the number 1. What's my number 1 favorite score of all time? Well, we're going back to the guy that started it all with Alan Silvestri and his magnum opus, Back to the Future. Ba 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 da 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 da. Okay, that's the last time I'm going to be singing that, but people, you might as well be going to listen to these scores right now, because trust me, they're a lot better than my singing overall. Back to the Future has, without a doubt, the greatest score ever. Hands down. Why? It does everything a good theme should do. It starts off slow and with easy movement, and just keeps getting bigger and better as it goes along, and by the end, it just gets you ready for it just ends on the best note possible. It's like a story that's being told within the music itself. And it just works on so many levels. You can listen to the score so many times and never get sick and tired of it, no matter how hard you try. It's one of those things that it's just going to be, once you hear it, I mean, once you hear it, it's going to be stuck in your head for a little bit. And you don't mind it, because the music is freaking awesome. Just like the movies are freaking awesome. I mean, these are great. This is a great score by a really great composer, Alan Silvestri. I mean, yeah, John Williams is the greatest composer of all time. I really do think Alan Silvestri deserves to be a close second, because he's done so many great scores. And I just covered probably his best 3 overall. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Avengers, and Back to the Future, man. These are all absolutely terrific scores overall. And like I said, there's a number of other scores I could throw into the mix here. You know, some other ones I'll mention, you know, Ghostbusters, the great one by Elmer Bernstein. Daft Punk's Tron Legacy score is really good. Cliff Martinez's Drive score. A couple more John Williams classics, Jurassic Park, and of course you gotta have your E.T. Ira Newborn's Naked Gun music, Bill Conti's Rocky, Howard Shore's The Lord of the Rings, Harold Faltermeyer's Beverly Hills Cop, and Henry Mancini's The Pink Panther. Just a lot of great scores on this list here. I probably have destroyed your earbuds by having you listen to me sing these songs the way I did. But hey, they're out there. Go listen to me for yourselves. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So there you go. Those are my top 10 favorite scores of all time. If you want to see the video I did last week where I'm not singing, talking about how much I love the Disney Mickey Mouse shorts of the 2010s, check out the video in the corner. Check out the playlist down below, and I will see you guys next week. So I lost my train of thought there. So with all that said, I will see you guys next time. Till then, take care.